When I started this project, The Truth About People, I should have known it would take more than one episode to cover the truth about people. So here is episode 2, The Truth About People. Now, since mankind was given dominion over the earth, we have the power to either improve or destroy this planet. Even without war or an atom bomb, we are literally destroying our planet right now. The Earth's atmosphere is very fragile. As it stands, global warming is melting both poles, causing severe changes in our weather pattern all around the globe. Unfortunately, Mother Nature does not repay only the guilty, but the entire planet would have to suffer because of our misdeeds. As we spew fossil fuel fumes up into our ozone layer, we're destroying that fragile veil that keeps the Earth protected from the deadly ultraviolet rays of the sun. Once that layer is departed, then God help us. But mankind has the power to avoid this, but do we care enough about our future to preserve this planet? Now, planet Earth is not the only thing at stake here. People are at war with each other. If there can be no peace, then war is unavoidable. War kills people and makes the land uninhabitable. With so many countries seeking to gain nuclear bombs, it would only take one deranged autocrat to push a button and make this land unlivable for generations to come. Now, mankind is unstable and untrustworthy. Look at what just one man was able to do while governing a free country. He was able to create so much division and havoc with so much power under his control. Now, he did that in a democracy. What would be possible in a country that is controlled by a dictator? Now, I'm sure several of them were surely taking notes from this man's playbook as to how to deal with such an immense power. So as you can see, the truth about people needs a much deeper dive. If we don't do something soon, there will be nothing here to protect. This is the subject of this episode, The Truth About People, Part 2. Please take a seat and join me. Selah.
Hello. My name is Alexandra. Welcome to Straight Talk with Greg Middleton. The title of this segment is The Truth About People. This is part 2. Now here is Greg.
Thanks once again, Alexandra, for your kind words. Now, at this stage of our progression, we don't have the resources to travel to another planet and set up home. If Earth is destroyed along with mankind, then how many billions of Earth years would it take for creatures to come back up out of the ground and establish dominion over the Earth? Now, unless there were somehow some frozen embryos preserved in a secret hiding place where robots could activate them again and populate the Earth should the Earth be destroyed, then mankind would no longer be in control of the planet Earth. Would our Creator actually allow such a thing to happen to his most precious creation? Now, during the days of Noah, it was the great floods that destroyed the earth. The next time we're told that it will be fire that no one could possibly escape. Perhaps God has just grown tired of us. Now, after all these many years, we have proven ourselves to be untrustworthy, unkind, mean. We lack compassion. We're quick to anger, unsympathetic, unloving, and just plain ungodly. Now, perhaps it's time for God to just gather his precious soul and dismiss this whole experience called life. Could that be where we're headed? As a believer in Almighty God, I sometimes wonder, what does God think about his creation as he looks down on us? Yes, there are some great souls that are currently alive, and scores of them that have lived, contributed, and died, making this planet a much better place for future generations to come. Now, as it stands today, most people on this planet are not ruthless and destructive to the point of causing annihilation. It is true that the human species might be volatile and can be destructive if left unchecked, but most of them value and care about one another, even if they don't show it overtly. Now, we know that only a small percentage of the population are selfish enough to want to destroy the weak so they can gain the upper hand. Only a few would want to live in a society that is divided between the haves and the have-nots, the rich and the poor, the godly and the ungodly, or the righteous and the unrighteous. Now, without knowing any such statistics, I would say that only about 1% of the world's population would dare fall into that ruthless category. Now, it is said that only less than 1% of the world's population controls 99% of the world's great wealth. We know that not all rich people are destructive, so perhaps less than 1% of the world's population would be self-destructive enough to want to destroy the world if they couldn't have it all. But what does that say about us 99% left? Is the silent majority that meek that they would just roll over and let the rich and powerful dictate our future? The future of this planet? Currently, I see no trend that says otherwise. And what does this need to be selfish and greedy? What does it accomplish to gain the entire world yet destroy your fellow citizens? Would anyone be happy with a world that only consists of just the filthy rich with no poor? Who would do their dirty work for them? On whose backs and necks would they stand upon? Upon whose bosom would they rebuild their Puritan society? The rich don't do manual work. They don't do many things for themselves because they just pay others to do the dirty work for them. Without the poor, the meek, the peacekeepers, and those who hunger enough to submit to hard manual labor, they could not sustain their high and mighty lifestyles. What rich man would want to submit to another rich person for the good of the colony? That is not even within their character. Now, if hate ruled the day, who would be on top? There was a time when black dynasties ruled ancient civilization. There was other times when brown people ruled modern civilization. It appears that in current times, Caucasian are the ruling majority of the world's riches. Now, King Solomon said that it's all meaningless, utter meaningless. He said, quote, "What has been will be again, and what has been done will be done again. There's nothing new under the sun." Close quote. Now, King Solomon was one of the richest men that ever lived on the planet Earth. And he came to this conclusion, quote, "No one remembers the former generations, and even those yet to come will not be remembered by those who followed them." Close quote. So the great king ultimately concluded. He said, quote, "I have experienced much of wisdom and knowledge. Then I applied myself to understanding of wisdom and also of madness and folly. But I learned that this, too, is just chasing after the wind. For with much wisdom comes sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief." Close quote. Now, Christ said, what good is done to gain the entire world and lose one's soul? Close quote. Now, even if you could somehow gain the entire world, who would be there to cheer with you? Happiness should not be in things, but in people. If you disenfranchise people, then what is gained? What is gained by people hating each other for no other reason than they are different? But if you stick around long enough, you become the hated. Now, do you really want to attend a party where everyone is as ruthless as you? You cannot stay on top unless you destroy those who are below you. Can you continue to live in such a manner? Now, people need other people. A divided body cannot stand. God made this one body and told us to take care of it. Destroying part of the body kills everyone. Now, if the less than 1% of the population wants to live in such a manner, then the remaining 99% of us need to take back the steering wheel. If not, we'll all be driven into the pits of destruction. And where is the win in that? Over the entire history of mankind, there have been many enlightened human beings that delivered messages of truth and love. But to what avail? Is this entire experience of life utter meaningless? Are we even worth saving? For those who believe in a divine God, don't you know that the same God created all those enlightened human beings? Now, did Christ create himself, or did he defer all things to the Father? Did the one that we refer to as the Buddha bring himself into existence to spread the message of peace and love? Did the Prophet Muhammad create himself to wage war against other people? Perhaps the Hindus see themselves as chosen ones, as do the Jews. Now, would a loving God pick one of his precious creations over the rest? Absolutely not. To our Creator, we are all one. Apparently, we, human beings, did not get the memo. Do you actually think that your differences were intended to be hated? What part of God's body should we hate? We are the only body that God is currently using to experience this thing called life on earth. He gave us dominion over it, and look at what we are doing. I'm having a hard time seeing this glass half full. Now, even though we know that most people are not inherently evil, it is the head of the body that is in control. Once you cut off the head, the whole body will die. If the head of the body of humanity is controlled by the rich and powerful, and most of them are only concerned about their selfish gain, then the captain of this ship would run everybody in the ground. Once the ship is sunken, there will be no more mankind. Is that our faith? I'm really having a hard time trying to see a sliver of love here. I hope God does not see what I'm seeing, because the picture that my eyes reveal does not look promising. If we simply repeat the same old things as we've always done, then what's the point? Could life really be utter meaningless, as Solomon declared? Are people worth saving just to repeat the same old thing? I yield unto God. Now, for this I pray. Dear Father, most of your people are kind and decent, but the small percentage that is in charge apparently did not get your instructions. Most of them don't seem to practice righteousness or godliness. I know that you are capable of doing all things for the good, but the image that mankind is betraying looks very wicked. Perhaps our hope does not live in this place. Perhaps the grand prize that we seek is in the hereafter. If so, then we must turn our gaze away from this place and upward toward heaven bound. Oh, my Lord, I yield unto you, Almighty God. May thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. This is my humble prayer. Say love.